We heard exactly what oppressors are doing and using AI. But we want to talk now about what we can do with AI in order to combat this. And so 3 things: productivity, innovation, and scale. AI will transform our world. AI is a productivity game changer, right? We have the ability to, instead of sending one social media post, to send them in a coordinated fashion, in an agentic AI, where we don't have to actually sit there and post excuse me. We don't have to post these social media, but instead we can we can coordinate this with an agentic AI. Productivity is also the key to creating great stories, to hyper-personalize messages, right? Think about, like, if you need to persuade one single person. Thank you. There's one person in the world you need to persuade. You can actually use an LLM with a super prompt that will highly target that individual by using a super prompt to say exactly what that person is like, what motivates them, what drives them, what are their values, what are their beliefs, so that AI can now write a highly targeted post or letter or campaign, and in doing so, it can, create a very persuasive, I like to call it hyper-personalized persuasion, right? Where you can literally understand who your audience is and meld your message to meet their needs. This is super powerful because we don't always have the time to do this. But AI can take, a post that might take an hour and make it in 30 seconds, right? And that kind of productivity also leads to innovation. Innovation is such that we can create campaigns that are unique, that are one of my favorite tools or techniques to do with a large language model is to brainstorm with it, right? To ask, how would I accomplish this in a artistic fashion, or how would I accomplish this in a academic fashion? And now the beauty of creating great prompts can allow you to be enormously creative, right? And being that creative is something that most of us just don't have any time for. And so whether that's a way in which to brainstorm with an AI that says, I need to persuade this group who may or may not be supportive of us. I need to have messaging and a creative campaign around it. And AI can give us that campaign and give us multiple options. If there's one thing that I could suggest about AI, is that it's the ultimate experimental tool. It's the ultimate what-if tool. What if I needed to What if I needed to create a campaign? What if I needed to create a campaign for this particular audience? And so, innovation is absolutely, and creativity are some of the aspects that make it so powerful. And then the last piece is scale, and scale is an offshoot of productivity, of course, but scale allows us to do a lot more with a lot less. And so we at Human Rights Foundation will help you. First, we'll provide some educational tools, some webinars, both asynchronous and synchronous webinars, but we'll also, so you'll be informed of what these tools are, but then we'll also find the right tools for you so that we're ensuring that it's the most productive, it's the most efficient way to use these tools. Scale is critically important because it's the one way that we can best fight our adversaries. And our adversaries, as we've heard today, are using AI quite aggressively. And so being able to combat that with productivity, with innovation, and with scale is a superpower that most of us aren't using yet, but all of us will use in the future. Our adversaries are pushing ahead very quickly with this, but they're not very perfect. Let me dissuade you from thinking that these dystopian arguments that we heard earlier today are sort of this massive AI tools that will once rule the world. I don't believe that, mostly because much of the training data that they've used is politicized, and hence most of the training data that was used to create some of these tools was heavily politicized, right? And in doing so, we've got some sort of data training pollution, and that data training pollution means that because the CCP, the Iranians, they can't step outside of their norms. They are at risk for basic common sense. And so with that, I'd like to, invite you to explore with HRF, these tools, these webinars, these efforts, because I'm distraught at the dystopian pictures that we've seen, but I'm also a strong believer that these tools can also be a great advantage to us and to our efforts, and can make our lives better, more efficient, and the like.